Hi guys, this is the advisor and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to tell you about one of the most poignant, the most touching murder cases to have ever happened in Jamaica. I'm going to tell you about the wonderful human being, the most promising and talented person that it happened to. I'm also going to tell you why it has not been solved. And I'm going to tell the world how it could have been solved and why, even after 8 years, it can still be solved. Viewers, this is one murder case that you really won't want to miss. But before I go into it, I need to deal with a matter. Over the past 2 or 3 weeks, one certain individual keeps coming on my post. In my comment section. And he keeps repeating the same thing. In effect, get to the point, get to the point. Stop the long and drawn out thing. Stop the long argument. Just get to the point. And he keeps doing that and it's getting more and more annoying. And no matter how me run him still coming back. Well, I say him because I'm not even quite sure what it is. So, out of curiosity, I went on its YouTube page. And this was a picture on its masthead. And I was there wondering, what is it? Is it male or female? To me, my first impression was it looked like a male dressed as a female. But I wasn't quite sure and I couldn't find any more information on it. So I went over to TikTok and I found this picture. Well, it's a screen grab from a video. And this seemed to be what it is. Just the type of people that you would expect to find over TikTok. Just the kind of people, I wouldn't even call it people, just the kind of individual that does not care about learning anything, that deals with knowledge or common sense or reason. A confused individual that doesn't know whether it's male or female. The kind of people who would only be loved by its mother and Kamala Harris. Because decent people couldn't love this. Yeah man, a Kamala type of people them yeah. Things when you know whether them a man or woman. Transvestites, gays, transsexuals, metrosexual, pansexual, or anyone who would think that it could be one gender today, one of the 11 different genders where Kamala recognized. So, for our type of people them yeah. Anyway, I don't know how to get rid of it, but I not spend more time with it. Me just ignore it in future. Now, I'm going to ask you one question. How can a person who have only 6 videos only have 156 views since January 2021? Are going to come criticize me and tell me that I am doing something wrong? Make that make sense to me. Make that make sense. And look what it call itself. It call itself cuckoo. And in the western end of Jamaica, a cuckoo is an idiot. So I don't even have to find another reduplicative word for you today. Because when you look at this thing and you say it is cuckoo. But if any of you out there have a different Jamaican meaning for cuckoo, you can let us know in the comment section. Anyway, let's move on. This lovely lady you see dancing here, her name is Desiree Hyacinth Gibbon. She was only 26 years old when she was murdered in Montego Bay, Jamaica in 2017. And up until now, her family has no idea why she was murdered and by whom. And before I tell you more about that, let me tell you about the person and what the world has lost when they lost Desiree Gibbon. And stay with me with this because we're going to solve this murder. Desiree was born on the 13th of August 1991 in Queens, New York to Gary and Andrea Gibbons. Of course, Gary, her father, was a Jamaican from Montego Bay or from the St. James area. And he went to the United States and he married a woman, his wife, Andrea. And they lived there in New York where Desiree was born. Desiree was a very beautiful baby. This is her. Desiree grew up in a cosmopolitan society with a diverse culture. That was New York. So, therefore, she was exposed to the arts, to fashion, and entertainment industries from a very early age. And she had aspired to become a model. She was a vibrant, vivacious, bubbly, effervescent, and flamboyant person. She's more a Miss Kitty type of person, except that she had more poise and grace with it. So, and even from school days, she was entering competition at school, beauty pageants and so on, and she entered quite a few. And in most of them, she placed and placed very highly. In 2014, she was an entrance in the Miss New York beauty pageant, and at that time, she was 23 years old. And she was even a participant in the VH1 game show Hip Hop Squares. So she was always in the limelight and she always push up herself. Them enough people, it's the Jamaican side of her. Because, we Jamaicans enough. And while she was attending Benjamin Cardoza High School, she also was attending the Frank Snatcher School of Arts in Astoria, New York for a year. So she graduated from both the Frank Sinatra School of Arts in Astoria, New York, and also from Benjamin Cardoga High School. So she was a fairly brilliant person and she was an overachiever. She also went on after high school to get a degree from the West Virginia University in broadcasting and journalism. And every holiday she would go overseas. So she'd been to France, she'd been to Spain, she'd been to Germany, but most of the years, on summer holidays mostly, she would come to Jamaica. And if she couldn't make it for summer, she would make it for Christmas. Because she was a lot more attuned to her Jamaican dad's side of the family than she was to her mom's American side. Now, her plans and her ambition was that in 2018, she was going to go to France to study drama and cinematography because she wanted to either be an actress or a producer in the cinema, but that was where she was planning to be. And she was a very independent person because she decided that she wanted to fund part of her tuition from her own savings. And she decided that what she was going to do was to come to Jamaica, spend 3 months, work somewhere somehow in the hotel industry, in the entertainment industry, earn some money and use it towards her studies in France. As I told you before, when she come to Jamaica, she would always stay at her dad's family's place. Her father's mother, which is her grandmother, owned a small hotel or motel in the Anchovey area of St. James. And whenever she come to Jamaica, that was where she stayed. She would just get room and board and just hang out and do what she has to do. So when she came down in October of 2017, she just did her usual thing. She was up and down, in and out, checking out jobs. And of course, she was helping out in her grandmother's hospitality business. And as I said, it was like a second home tour because she come home basically every year because she considered Jamaica her real birthright rather than America, even though she was born in America. And while here, of course, she would call her mother and her dad like every other day or so, roughly every 2 days. Now, on the 23rd of November, a little less than a month after she arrived, the CCTV cameras inside the Gibbs Chateau Resort, because that's the name of her grandmother's business place, captured her on video at around 11:27 p.m. heading out the door. Of course, this was not unusual for her because she would come and go when she pleased, any hours of the day or night, and she didn't have a specific routine. And of course, everybody thought she was old enough to take care of herself, and because it's somewhere that she has been going over from a child, nobody would have thought that she couldn't take care of herself in Jamaica. So, because of the nature of her movements, and because of the type of personality, nobody even realized she was missing until 3 days later. It wasn't, she was last seen on CCTV on November 23rd, and it wasn't until November 26th, 3 whole days later, that someone tumbled upon her body in some bushes, just about 20 minutes drive away from where she was staying. Guys, the autopsy report, first of all, it showed that her throat was slit, but it was done so brutally that you could stare from the front of her face, look at her front way and see her vertebral column, her backbone. In other words, they were trying to take off the head, but the only reason why the head never take off is because maybe the blade wasn't sharp enough to slice through her backbone in her neck, the bone in her neck. So it was really a brutal death. Now, it was her father's brother who was running the hotel. That is her uncle Carl. And Carl, you notice he didn't see her for a day or two or what, but he didn't take it for anything because him know she's always in and out, and if him see her, and when him don't see her, it wasn't like any big deal. Because it wasn't like she had a routine of checking in on him or him checking in on her. If he needed her, he would call her, or vice versa. Now, here are some points to note. She left her room with one of her cell phones. She had two. The one that she took with her was her Apple phone, her iPhone that she had taken with her to Jamaica from the United States. It is believed that the one that she was using out here was a Samsung that she had actually acquired out here with a local chip. Or should I say SIM card. The Samsung phone was left on her bed in her room with her purse. Which means, of course, she didn't intend to go very far. And yet, the police claim to have no leads. 8 years on, the police have no lead. How could the police not have no lead? In my opinion, they had the very best leads. They had the data from her cell phones, both cell phones. The person who picked her up must have called her on one of those phones and says something to the effect, "Come out now, I'm outside." I ask the question again. How is it that the police said them no have no lead? All the police had to do in this case was to subpoena the phone records. Because even though her phone was registered in the United States of America, once it is picked up on a signal on any of the networks here in Jamaica, those records will be available and would have been made available had they been subpoenaed. And there is no way they could have subpoenaed those records and then stand up here and tell me say them not have no lead. Here is why. From what I heard, Desiree was not just smart just in terms of book and pen, but she was very tech savvy. So there is no way that Desiree would not have an Google map and Google location on her phone or phones. Therefore, they could track her phone, the Apple phone that she had with her, and tell exactly where she went and the speed she traveled and the route she traveled until the phone was shut off. Not only that, the phone records will also show and have available every single text message, every voice note, along with every phone call that was made during that time period, or from the history of calls would be there from she landed in the island. So they could have traced who called her out of the house, all the people that she had spoken with during the course of the first maybe 24, the crucial 24 to 48 hours prior to her being unalived. Add to that, at the autopsy, it was found that there were 2 sets of DNA skin cells found under her fingernails. Which means the person who spoke with her, the person who picked her up, the person to whom those phones or that phone was registered. Once you find that person, you would be able to check their DNA with that was found under her fingernail. And there is no way you could have said you're not involved if you are the somebody where call her out. You are the person who you and that phone ping. Your phone where she call you upon and her phone pinged off at the same tower at the same time and traveled together based on Google Map to a certain point where she was killed. And please don't tell me say that those DNA that was found under her nails could have been there from 2 or 3 days before. Let me tell you something. She's a Jamaican. Not by birth, not by nationality, but we know we people them. And as a Jamaican, she would never did go up on the road at night without she bathe. We bathe twice a day. We are Jamaicans. So as long as she was more inclined to her dad's side, and it was her dad's genes that were so prominent in her, she would have had a shower before leaving, unless she had a shower within the first last 2 or 3 hours. That's how we stay. We are Jamaicans. Jamaicans now go a road with ranking pums. Do I get an amen? Praise the Lord. Anyway, let's continue. On top of that, remember now, the Samsung phone was left in her room on her bed, which means clearly that that phone could be analyzed and cross-referred with the other phone, the iPhone that she has, and see if she had made call to those same individuals or individual over a certain relevant space of time. And you could have picked up a pattern. And that pattern could tell you, and then based on maybe even text messages and voice notes, which I'm sure whichever service provider she was dealing with, they would have handed all of that to the police. And the police are going to say, them not have no lead. And of course, the fact that she had left her purse and left her money, left her credit cards, left everything, it means that she didn't plan to go far. So it has to be somebody that she knows. Somebody that she has been dealing with for some time, which means their number would have been in at least one, but definitely both, maybe both phones, but definitely the one that she carried downstairs with her. Because why she walk with that phone downstairs is perhaps because when she reached down, she can say, are you that a drive up at the gate? Yes, I me that. And me, I come out now in the blue frack, as the case may be. You understand? So that is a critical phone, and even though that phone is missing, it matters not because the cell phone provider has all of those details. Now, them so-called detective a Montego Bay, well, I would even say Montego Bay, them so-called detective where we have a Jamaica, have got at their fingertips every single thing they need to make a breakthrough the case, and them say them not have the lead. Are they detective or them are defective? Because they more sound like them are defective to me instead of detectives. So what I'm saying is, Desiree's parents need to start pressuring the government to actually take the steps that I have mentioned here. Because even at this late stage, the case can be solved. And I tell you one thing, even if those numbers have been reassigned to other people, it does not matter. Because the records would show who had those phone or that phone number during the time when the act was committed. Because you have a SIM card which can be used by several people over time. Once you don't use the chip for maybe about 3 months, it gets recalled, it's shut off, and it is reissued to somebody else. But you can still trace down every single person who had used that chip over the past 30 or 40 years or however long that chip had been issued. That is how technology is. So even if that chip had been reissued, that SIM card had been reissued to anybody else, any number of people over those years, they could tell who would have had it on the night of November 23rd, 2017. And then you check those people's DNA against the skin cells that were found under her fingernails. That's not rocket science. That's not quantum physics. That is just like 1 + 1 = 2. And Jamaican detectives, I gotta say them not have no lead. Her parents, Gary and Andrea Gibbons, they have decided to do something else. They have, I don't know how much pressure they have put on it, but what they have been trying to do is to try to get the United States to have some kind of a treaty with the Jamaican government in which police from the United States or law enforcement from the United States, whether FBI or whoever, can come down to Jamaica with full authority, police authorities, and investigate any crime resulting in murder of an American citizen in Jamaica. And I think that should be done in this specific case. Because if these numbskulls, these retarded Jamaican police detectives, couldn't even find a lead, to me, them a earn money under false pretense. Them a slime. Now, if anybody have any information pertaining to this case, please send it to this email address or go on this website and see if you can leave any information pertaining to it. That's www.justicefordesiree.com. As remember that murder cases has no statutory limits. Any number of years past, you can still get those people and string them up. Guys, thanks for watching. Like, share, leave a comment below, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.